Hello my friends, Paul here in the RoJoBe Music Workshop, and this is the first video again that I've recorded and uploaded for some time. Things have just gone crazy here. It's just, I know I keep saying it and it keeps happening. We've just got super busy. I'm going to explain more about what's been happening and is happening in a further upcoming video, which will be the November shop update. But this video is, believe it or not, part 2 of the Cigar box guitar build project. The first video I recorded and uploaded months ago. I can't even remember when, but it was months and months ago. And I've just not had time to get back to it. You know, I've not been doing many videos lately because I just haven't had the time. I've got so much on at the moment. As I said, will be explained in the November shop update video. So part 2 of the Cigar box guitar build project. Okay, I have to make a confession. I've actually completed the first Cigar box guitar. So in the first video, I basically cut out the basic shape of the neck. And the reason that I've just got on and built this first one is because it's the prototype, and I knew that I would come across many problems, and I did come across many problems whilst building it. So I didn't want to record it and record, you know, I mean, I know that, you know, my videos are raw and, you know, what you see is how I've recorded it. But I knew that this was going to be problematic, and it took me quite a long time to actually build it in the end. You know, whenever I had spare time, so over, you know, 2 or 3 weeks or so, once I got back into it. And I didn't want to record it because, you know, because of all the problems I would have with it and did have with it. But it's finished. So I am going to record the building of the other 2. But as I said, this is the prototype, and here it is. And I've made this left-handed. Okay, so probably not going to be able to see it too clearly like that, but there's a close-up of the headstock. So just before I show you the rest of it, so the box that I chose is this one, and I just thought it kind of looked a bit gothic, I suppose. You know, it's kind of got like fake studs and leather straps and things on it, you know. So I just decided to go with that theme. I mean, I'm actually recording this now, today, on the 31st of October, so Halloween, but I finished this a couple of weeks ago. And, you know, I kind of had Halloween in mind when I was building it, so I've gone with the gothic theme. So right there on the headstock, you've got, I don't know whether you can see that, but it's basically a skull mounted on a sword. Chrome hardware, nothing special. I did put a string tree on there as well. Handmade bone nut. There's the fretboard, and then down to the body. So we've got a scorpion that side and a skull that side, and you can see this studs all the way around it. You know, I just kind of went all out with that theme. That thing there is basically a flattened out banjo fingerpick. I just thought it kind of went with the theme. And you see I've got an adjustable bridge and saddle on there as well, kind of, you know, Telecaster style-ish, so you can adjust the intonation and the action, but it's acoustic. And I'm going to go through some of the problems I had with this when I was building it. So I cut the fretboard before I made the neck, and you know, I did do some measurements, but I did make some mistakes. So first of all, let me just get that in shot. So you can see I've continued the taper of the fretboard, and you know, as on a guitar. So this is one of the fretboards that I made it out of. It's just a very cheap plastic bound guitar fretboard. So I cut it down with the taper, but I cut it a bit too narrow at the top, so I had to shape the rest of the neck to go with it. So it's ended up with the headstock a little bit too small, but it works. I mean, you know, there's no problems with it. It's just next time I'll make it a bit wider, and I won't put the taper in it because where you've got the saddles at the bottom, they're a kind of set distance apart, and that's pretty much the same as what it is at the nut. So what I've ended up with is too much space on the outside of the strings, either side. So, you know, the next one I will make straight. I'll cut it straight rather than tapered, and it will be a bit wider at the top than this one is. Only slightly, probably 4 or 5 mil, no more than that. Hand shaped all the neck. I've left it quite broad this way, just for strength, because it's quite narrow. And you know, I had to set the angle of the neck so that the neck would sort of angle down, so that I get the right, you know, ballpark for the action and everything else. Now, this is quite a thin wooden box, and what I should have done was put a brace inside across where the bridge goes, because when I had it strung up, it was basically pulling the front down, and it was sinking in here. So it was too late to put a brace in by then, because it's all glued together. So what I did to alleviate some of the pressure was I put a plate on the bottom and actually drilled holes in there and put the strings through there and then through the bridge. So that's relieved quite a lot of the pressure here, so it's not sinking down as much. It just does a tiny, tiny bit, but that doesn't matter. So, you know, again, for future ones, I will make, I'll put a brace across there on the inside. So, you know, I came across quite a few problems. I also put a you know, really sort of basic neck heel plate on the back there, just for added strength. So, you know, there was a few problems with this, and I'll know what to do next time. Now, sorry, 1 second, just check a message has come through. Okay. Now, so this one, you know, all the hardware is chrome or silver, whatever you like. I think it looks really good. I quite like it. Oh, let me give you a bit of a. Oh yeah, it does need a fret leveling as well. Whoa. Yeah, you can tell it needs some fret leveling, and it's got quite a bit of buzzing going on. I was hoping to get away with it, but I didn't, and I haven't got round to doing that yet. And it doesn't need a great deal. I mean, the neck itself is really straight and flat, but when I put the frets in, I should have done a fret leveling, and I didn't, so I will. So it still needs a little bit of setting up. Tuned open G, so it's GDG. That apparently is the standard cigar box guitar tuning, GDG. Yeah, it's a bit of buzzing going on, so it needs a fret leveling, and then once that's done, it should be absolutely fine. Now, so I bought these bridge and saddle kits really cheap actually. So there's 3 strings, especially for cigar box guitars. Now they are meant for electric, but it actually works really well in acoustic. Now I bought 3 sets of those. So I bought the chrome set you've just seen, and I bought the set in black, and I've got some, can't really see them, but I've got some matching black tuners. They're actually, that's a full set of guitar tuners, but I'll use half of that. And I've also got a gold set, and again, matching tuners. So the next one I'm going to do is going to be, it's going to be all black. Now, I've got quite a few boxes, you know, wooden boxes. None of them really sort of hit the mark. They're either too small or too big, too thin or too thick, you know. So I'm going to sacrifice one of my handmade ukuleles to make the next one, and it's this one. Okay, I've had this one in stock for a long time. This is one of the early ones that I made, and you know, it's all black. I mean, even the neck is black on this, but obviously I won't be using the neck because I'll be making a new one. Now, really, the sound hole on this is a bit too big and it's set a bit too low. As I said, this was one of the early ones I made, and you know, I was experimenting with different setups. I mean, it's got a decent volume. Tone isn't great, but that's probably because it's, you know, nylon strings. So when I make this a cigar box guitar out of this with steel strings, I'm pretty much hoping it's going to sound a lot better. Now, so the next one is going to be all black. So I'm using this body, but not the neck, because that's a ukulele neck. And I've got the neck attached to the body. There are 2 screws inside going through the body into the neck, but it will be glued as well. I mean, I know for a fact it will be glued. Now that sound hole is quite big, so I'm hoping I'll be able to get in there, you know, with a short screwdriver and pull those screws out, and then, you know, carefully cut away the seal around the neck and remove the neck. That's what I'm hoping I'll be able to do. And you know, so there's less disturbance to the actual box, because this box I've made it quite well, and I have got a brace on the inside across under the bridge, and there's also two more that go from here. Hold on, let me just check. Yeah, so they go 2 more braces that go basically from here to sort of this angle. So and then the other one kind of goes from there up there. So they're kind of tapered inwards. And as I said, I've got a brace about here, just in front of the bridge. So that will be perfect for, you know, what I was saying about bracing under the bridge for the next one. So I want to, how are we doing for time? Plenty of time. So I want to make a start on pulling this apart. Now, as I said, I'm hoping I'll be able to get inside the sound hole and undo the screws and get that neck off. If I can't, the other option is to remove the back. Now, I really don't want to do that if I can help it, because it's all, you know, painted and lacquered and sealed, and, you know, you can see the joint, and I don't think it would be too difficult to get the back off. But the problem is it's gonna, you know, it's gonna make a mess, and you know, it will be difficult to touch it all back up and make it look as though I hadn't taken the back off. I mean, it's option 2. It's not the best option in as far as aesthetics, because it's going to really, you know, break all the seal of the paint and everything, and I'll have a nightmare, you know, repairing all that when it's back together, as well as getting the back on exactly straight as it is. So I'm hoping I will be able to do it without removing the back. So let's see. First things first, I will need to remove the strings off of this. Let me just zoom you in a bit. Okay, right, so I'll start by unwinding the strings. Just use my speed winder for speed. Now, this isn't the first time I've done this, you know, used the body of one instrument to make another kind of thing. It saves a lot of time, for one thing, and you know, it's this is the right size, the right shape, the right colour that I want. So, you know, this ukulele has been in the shop for months and months, well, a year or 2, and it's never sold. So, you know, it's a sacrifice I can afford, no problem. And you know, I've still got a lot of these handmade ukuleles in stock, so you know, I'm not worried about losing anything. And I'm much more likely to sell this as a CBG as opposed to a ukulele, it would appear. So that's what it's going to be. Now, I want to remove the strings at the bridge end and just leave them attached on the headstock. So, just got to, luckily I've got my tweezers here, and just loosen that up a bit. Oh dear. Ouch. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to cut these strings because they're, they were new when I put them on, barely been used, so they're still good strings. So I'm not going to destroy them unnecessarily. They can be reused. Okay, here comes the first string. Bit fiddly. Okay, that's one. Second one, okay, still a bit tight. Oh, that's really tight. Obviously put them on a bit too well. I mean, as I said, this was one of the early ukuleles that I built, but by this one I've done enough to know where I was making mistakes. As I said, with this one, the sound hole size and placement are not perfect, but it still makes a decent sound. So, as I said, with steel strings on there, it's going to sound even better. So. It'll be fine, no problem. And as I said, it's going to save me quite a lot of time because making the bodies from scratch is very time consuming and problematic. And even with the boxes I've got, as I said, none of them are absolutely perfect for the job. So the very screwdriver I need, which is one of these, but a Phillips, is down on my desk. So bear with me for 1 minute while I run and grab that. I'm back. Sorry about that. Should have made sure I had everything to hand, but you know what it's like. Okay, so yeah, I don't think so. The sound hole is big enough to get my hand in, but if you look at the depth of the instrument, I mean, it's barely half a finger deep. So I don't think I'm going to be able to maneuver enough to get that out. Let's have a look. Never give up. Should be able to get one of the screws, the one that's basically at the heel of the neck. Should be able to. I mean, that one. Far off. Okay, I've got the screwdriver in the screw, but can I turn it? There's just no room in there. Oh, there you go, that's the idea. So I'll put this screwdriver through the hole in the handle of the little one, and I've got it started, and now it's turning. That's good. But this is the easy screw. I've still got to try and get to the one that's basically at this top edge. Now I may or may not be able to do that. We will see shortly. But this screw's come in, so that's a start. Yeah, if I can get on the other screw, then I should be alright. And also this one will be the shorter of the two because it goes into the heel. Oh, there's just no room to get in there. Can't get my hand in. Really tight. Well, as I said, the sound hole itself is big enough to get my hand through, but the body isn't deep enough. So it's pretty dang dark in there and I can't see what I'm doing. It's almost out. Yeah, okay, that one's out. Let's see if I can get on the other one. That one's out. I might be able to, I don't know. I'm just going to have to guess where the screw is because I can't actually see in there at the same time. Apart from the fact that it's dark, I just can't get the angle. It's so close, I think I can get it. Sure I can. Can't see if I can do it, can I? Just trying to get the screwdriver located in the top of the screw. Once I do, should be alright. Oh, we're in. Okay. Turn. Come on. Turn. Yes. Alright. Okay, so I've got that one turning now. That's fantastic. Although, to be honest, that's the easy part. Getting the new neck lined up and, you know, and drilling the holes in the right place and then getting the screws in, yeah, it may not be quite so easy. But I'm pretty sure, or quite sure I'd say, quite sure that I will be able to do it. You know, this was the test really. If I can get a screwdriver in there to get the old neck off, then theoretically I should be able to get to it to put the new one on. Theoretically. It's just not quite enough room to work in there, but I mean, if I'd done it with a really small sound hole, this would have been impossible. It's just big enough to, you know, to give me enough manoeuvrability to do it this way. Okay, that screws out. Is the neck loose already? Right, so I need a sharp knife, which typically isn't here. Right, let me grab one off the shelf. So I'm just going to cut along the edge of the neck to kind of break the seal. So I want to be careful not to damage the paint on it. It might take a little bit of fettling to get this neck removed because it's, you know, it will be screwed as well as it will be glued, sorry, as well as screwed. So hoping we'll be able to just kind of wiggle it loose, but we'll see. I've got a feeling actually when I built this one, this was before I had the Titebond wood glue, and I was just using TOA glue, which is similar. It's nowhere near as strong. It's more for, you know, art and craft stuff really. Not really suited for holding musical instruments together, but it's what I was using at the time. So I'm hoping that this joint should break away fairly easily. Just want to make sure I... Oh, it's come apart now. Problem with buying cheap stuff. So I'm not trying to cut through, I'm just breaking the seal of the paint. And then I'm going to give it a bit of a wiggle, see if it will break loose. I'm hoping it will, but okay. It doesn't look as though the fretboard is fully attached to the top, but I think it is a bit, so I'm going to need to get one of my tools in there to break that free. Let's see, where's my original one? Somewhere. It should be. What do you know? All of my new ones in there, but not. Oh, there it is. Come on. Right. Now we're actually getting very close to the end of recording time for this video. So this will be the end of part 2, and in part 3 I will be, with a bit of luck, removing this neck and seeing where we are. So if you've enjoyed this video, please give a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all the stuff, and we will see you in part 3. In the meantime, peace out. Peace out.